Grabbing the boards like, I'ma go coast to coast. I'm on beats like do-si-do. They don't wanna go toe to toe. Step into my court, you get put in the poster. We ain't talk to nobody if you ain't with the smoke. Run up on me, watch your ankles get broke.
Yo, what up, it's your boy JDMC and we back with another video. Today what I want to do is go through each NBA team and just give them a grade. It's either going to be an A, B, C or F. Pretty much A means like I think they're a contender and I think they could potentially win it all. B I think is sort of like an established playoff team. So if I label someone a B, it's sort of saying that I think that they can make the playoffs. C is either like an average team who could maybe make the playoffs, or just an average team in general, or it could also be a team that has a lot of potential, like a young team, but that I don't see as like a playoff threat yet. And then F is just F is F. We all know what F, you know what I mean? So let's just get straight into it. I'll pop it up on screen, the grades, and I'll give little descriptions on why I gave each team the grade I did. But before we get into it, make sure to like and subscribe. Look, I'm gonna put this up on screen, but like 90-something% of people who watch my videos aren't subscribed. Come on guys, make sure to like and subscribe. I'm on the road to 1K, so it really helps my channel grow. And also I'm gonna go through the teams in alphabetical order, so let's just get straight into it. The first team is the Philadelphia 76ers. I've given them a B. I do think that they'll be a playoff team. I think they're sort of one of the top teams in this sort of B category, just because I think they're nearly a contender, but I've put them in B for this. And the next team is the Bucks. I've given the Bucks an A. Obviously, they had the best record last year. They obviously didn't get the chance to be a contender. They were a second round exit, but the Bucks are still the Bucks. They still have Giannis, who's a back-to-back MVP, so we have to put them in the A category. And then moving on to the Chicago Bulls, I've given the Chicago Bulls a C. I just can't see them being a playoff team. They could probably, honestly, in the East, so I might be wrong about that. But I just think that in terms of other teams, like the 76ers, for example, who I've got in the B category, I'm not going to put the Bulls on the same level as them, so the Bulls are a C for me. Now moving on to the Cavs. Sorry if there's any Cavs fans out there or watching this video, but I've given you guys the first F for the video. I just think you do have a couple young, nice potential pieces, but like, really, like, you're in the East, which is the easier conference. You're not going to make the playoffs anytime soon. There's a lot more young players in the league on different teams who have a lot more potential than your players. But yeah, I might be wrong, but I've definitely put the Cavs as an F for this video. The Boston Celtics. I've given the Boston Celtics an A. I just think that the Boston Celtics, they're probably on the lower half of the A's. I do think they're a contender. They're obviously still very young and they can still grow with Tatum and Brown and Smart. I just think that Boston, they were a couple games off from making a finals appearance. I definitely think that we have to give them respect. They're definitely a contender, so the Celtics are an A. And also same with the Clippers. I've given the Clippers an A as well. Obviously people like to hate on them. That's pretty much their own doings. They talk themselves up so much and then fell so short, but I'm still going to give the Clippers an A. I still think that them behind the Lakers are probably sort of the best team to, well, they have the best chances to win coming into this 2020 to 2021 season. So the Clippers have got an A. And moving on to Memphis Grizzlies, I've given the Memphis Grizzlies a C, but let's call it a C plus just because they're so close to being in the B range. Obviously they might be a playoff team. I just think that the West is going to be very tough this year. They missed out only just last year, but I just think these 8 to 10 solid teams in the West now that the Grizzlies are going to have to try face to get above that. So sorry Grizzlies fans if you feel a bit disrespected with the C, but I'm going to give you guys a C plus. Now moving on to the Hawks, I've given the Hawks a C as well. Obviously I think Memphis are a little bit a step above them, but the Hawks did make some nice off-season moves. They could potentially be a B because they're looking like they're going to be a playoff team, but I'm going to give them a C. Shout out to Trae Young, but yeah, the Hawks fall under the C category. Now moving on to the Heat. I originally had the Heat as a B, but I've moved them up to A just out of respect. They're the bottom A slot just below the Celtics. They obviously made the finals last year and beat the Celtics, but I just think that I'm still going to put them in A just out of respect. Like, they literally were just in the finals, like it felt like a couple weeks ago. So shout out to the Heat. They're only going to get better. They do have players like Jimmy Butler and Gordon Dragic who are only going to get older, but Bam, Nunn, Tyler Hero, Duncan Robinson, like, these dudes are only going to get better. So I've put the Heat in the A category. Now moving on to the Hornets, I'm going to give them a C. I do like their future now. I did question the Gordon Hayward contract and I'm still questioning it. You can't change my mind on that, but I do like the upside of Melo, so yeah, they're a C. The Utah Jazz, they're a solid B. They're probably just as B as it can get. Like, they'll make the playoffs. They probably won't contend too much, but yeah, they're just a B. They're just a solid playoff team. Shout out Donovan. Now moving on to the Sacramento Kings. I've put the Kings in the C category. As again, potential B, but I don't want to call them a B yet. They still need that playoff berth. They're a high tier C, just on the fact that they got a lot of potential and they could be a B with this year maybe. And now moving on to the Knicks. Do we really need to say much about that? I'll give the Knicks an F. If you disagree, then I don't think you know basketball. But like I said at the start, I think I said it. If you disagree, make sure to leave a comment below. I'm not saying I'm right. I'm not saying these placements I've put them in is their placement. I have given this a lot of thought and reasoning to why they are where they are, but I'm not saying I'm right. So if you guys disagree, just comment below and we can talk about it. Now moving on to the Lakers. I've given the Lakers an A. Obviously a Lakers fan, as you can see, so of course I'm going to give them an A, but like, let's be real, they just won. They've only got better. So just to annoy you guys, I'm going to give the Lakers an A+. The Orlando Magic, I'm going to give the Magic a C. I just think that they have a little bit of potential and upside. They do have the All-Star Center. I just think that the Magic, might make the playoffs just because it's the East, but I'm not going to put them in the B category. It doesn't feel right having the Magic in the same breath as the Jazz and teams of that nature. So yeah, the Magic are a C. Dallas Mavericks, I'm going to give the Dallas Mavericks a B. I do think in a year or two they could be an A team and a contender, but definitely I think they should definitely be a playoff team this year, obviously. Luka and KP are only going to get better. Let's hope KP's injuries and stuff are fine. But yeah, the Mavericks are definitely a B. The Brooklyn Nets, I've put them in an A as a contender. We obviously have to wait and see what happens. But like, if you got KD and Kyrie on your team, like, come on, let's be real. Like, I'm putting them in the A category. And moving on to the Nuggets, I've put the Nuggets in B. I do think they're at the top of the B list, so we'll give them a B+. I think they're a couple they're just a fraction away from being a contender, but I just think that losing Jeremy Grant and losing a couple players like Craig in their rotation, I think that they'll get better because their players will get better, but I don't think they have as much depth as they did last year. So I'm going to put them in the B category. And also the same with the Pacers. I'm going to put the Pacers in the B category. I think I nearly slipped them down to a C, but like, they have an All-Star or two if Victor makes an All-Star game in the future. They're going to probably be a playoff team in the East. So I'm just going to give the Pacers a B just out of a little bit of respect. I feel like I didn't want to drop them to a C. And the Pelicans, I love the Pelicans, so I want to put them as a B, but I don't think that they're an automatic playoff team. So I've given them a C. I love the Pelicans. Like I said, like, I became a Lakers fan because of Ingram and D'Angelo Russell, who's not there, but like Lonzo, Ingram, Josh Hart, like, I love that core, and I'm a huge Zion fan, so I'm giving the Pelicans a C. Could be a B maybe at the end of the year. We will see. The Detroit Pistons, I'm going to give a C. I just think that they're sort of an average team. They're not a lock to make the playoffs in my eyes, unless you guys view it differently. But I don't think that the Pistons are a lock to make the playoffs, even in the East. So I'm just going to give them a C because, like I said before, I don't think putting the Pistons in the same breath as the Mavericks and the Nuggets and the Jazz. So yeah, they're a C. The Raptors, I've given a B. I think that they've dropped off a little bit coming into this year. I might get proven wrong. I just think that their team last year was a little bit better, and then the team the year before that with Kawhi was even better. They still have OG and players like that who will just get better. So yeah, the Raptors are a B to me. And also, same with the Houston Rockets. I'm going to put the Houston Rockets in the B category. We're not too sure what they're going to look like going forward now with John Wall and what's going to happen with Harden. They did say that Harden's going to start the year as the Rocket, but we'll have to see. Maybe the Rockets drop to a C or somehow turn to an A by the end of the year. But going into this year, I'm giving the Rockets a B. Also, same with the Blazers. I'm giving the Blazers a B. I think they're getting close to their A range, but I just don't think they're on the level of the Lakers, Bucks, Nets. So the Blazers are going to have a B. And shout out to the Blazers. I really like the Blazers. I think they're a huge underdog this year. I made a few videos ago about the Blazers, so go check that out if you haven't. The Spurs, I've given them a C. Obviously, they've always been like an A or B sort of grade team. But I just think they didn't make the playoffs last year. I wouldn't call them a playoff lock this year because of how tough the competition is. So it feels right for me to put the Spurs as a C. And the Suns, see, this is where it gets tricky. Like, you would think the Suns would be a C, right? But I've bumped them up to a B. They're probably the bottom of B, just on the fact that they got Chris Paul. I wouldn't call the Suns a lock necessarily. I do like their chances of making the playoffs. But I think once you add Chris Paul's experience, and remember what they were doing in the bubble? Didn't they win like 8 in a row? I know that was the bubble, but like they showed a lot of chemistry and a lot of upside. To add Chris Paul's chemistry and leadership into that, I just think that that's bumped the Suns up to a B. OKC, I've listed them as a C, but as a joke, let's just give them an A on the fact of how much draft picks they got. Like, that's A. Obviously, they're probably going to be an F-type team next year, but all those draft picks, man, I'll give them a C. Let's just give them a C. The Timberwolves, I've given them a C as well. They might be sort of the top of the C tier. I just don't think they're a playoff lock, like I've said for every C pretty much. But yeah, the Timberwolves, I really like D'Lo. I'm not a huge Cat fan, but I do think that they have a lot of upside, obviously. I do think Beasley got a little bit too much money, but I think they do have a lot of upside. They're a high C tier team for me. Now moving on to the Warriors. Before Clay's injury, I would have had the Warriors as an A. I've dropped them to a B just on the fact that they don't have Clay now. I do think they'll still be a playoff lock. Because they still have Curry, Draymond, Wiseman, Wiggins, who these players are going to have the time to show their worth. But I just do think that the Warriors will still definitely should make the playoffs. So I've put them as a B category for this video. And to finish up, the Wizards, they probably would have been a C maybe a couple weeks ago. I don't know. I feel like if they had John Wall, I would give them a B. Because I like to think that John Wall and Bradley is a lock to make the playoffs in the East. But now they've got Russell Westbrook, so they're definitely a B. I definitely think they'll make the playoffs in the East. Russell Westbrook and Bradley Beal is definitely enough talent to get you at least an 8 seed in the East. But yeah, that's that. Like I said at the start, make sure to comment if you disagree, or comment down who you would change or who you think I got wrong. Make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys next time. Thanks heaps for watching. Peace.